Does anyone remember the Miami zombie from 2012? This is Rudy Eugene, and back in 2012, when he was going to Urban Beach Week in Miami, his car broke down. He stayed with his car for about 30 minutes and then started to cross a 3-mile stretch of road called the MacArthur Crossway. As he was walking, he began stripping off his clothing, he got rid of his license, he had a Bible with him that he chucked, all around acting erratic. As he's walking, he runs into a homeless man, Ronald Papo, who was sleeping in the underpass of the causeway, and he proceeded to beat him unconscious, remove his clothing, and eat his face. This is not an over-exaggeration. He ate this man's face from the beard up. When police arrived on the scene, they gave commands to Eugene to stop eating this dude's face. He didn't listen. He just proceeded to growl and continued to eat this man's face. He was unalived at the scene. Trigger warning. There are pictures of Ronald Papo right after his face got eaten online. And there are pictures of how it's healed since then. He did survive. I can't show these pictures because I'll probably get a community guideline violation, but they are fucking intense.
This is a scary game to play in real life called the card game. The card game is a paranormal ritual that allows you to contact the spirits of the dead. This game can be played with any amount of people. To start the game, turn off the lights in the room you're in and light the candle. Then sprinkle a little bit of salt on the cards. Then each person that is playing the game must shuffle the cards. Now lay out the cards face down in 3 groups of 6 cards. Each group of cards should be in 2 columns and 3 rows, just like this picture. Then say out loud, "Are the spirits willing to talk to us tonight?" Then hover your hands over the cards until you feel heat coming from one of them. Then turn over that card. Spirits will communicate through the cards. Hearts means yes, spades means no, diamonds mean maybe, and clubs mean I don't know. If anything bad starts to happen, end the game immediately. If you hear whispering or feel something touching you, stop playing.
Are there zombies in China? A video that was released has caused a lot of discussion on social media and news outlets. People are asking if this is the start of a zombie apocalypse, with some believing the video to be real. Others suggest it might be nothing more than an elaborate hoax, but regardless of whether or not it's true, one thing is certain. If there was a zombie outbreak happening in China, it would have abruptly been kept under wraps by the Chinese government. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of a zombie downfall, or simply just another internet hoax that we'll laugh about one day?
911, what are you reporting?
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the trees. I don't know how it did it.
That was a real 911 call made from Kitsap, Washington in the year 1990, in which a man claimed that someone or something grabbed his dog and threw it over his 9-foot privacy fence, ultimately killing it. And the next time that he would call 911 would be far, far worse. The area known as Kitsap has been known to have all kinds of weird and odd sightings of something out there ever since people have occupied the land. This being is often what we refer to as Sasquatch. Now in the phone call, he describes that there's something outside crawling around. He brings up the fact that his dog recently passed away and begs the police to send someone out there. All this is to build up to the moment that he actually realizes what he's looking at. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that I believe or don't believe this phone call. That is up to you to decide. Here's the call.
I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better... See ya!
Hello?
Get somebody out there.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
You see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right.
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he in your yard?
He's looking big.
This is why I don't stay at creepy cabins. In 2018, a man trying to escape city life was staying in a cabin in the mountains. One morning, he stepped outside. He discovered a red ball resting in his front yard. At first, he thought nothing of it, imagining that his neighbor's children must be tossing it over the fence. He kicked the ball back, went inside and tried to resume his daily routine. But when night fell, he was awoken by the sound of children laughing outside his window. Determined to investigate, he rushed out of his house only to find that there were no children anywhere in sight. Yet the red ball was back on his property. Confused, he brought it inside his house and tried to sleep. The following day, he went over to his neighbor's house to complain about the kids, but he discovered that his neighbor was an old man living alone and there were no children in the area. That night, the man awoke once again to the sound of children playing on his property. He peered out the window, but there were no children to be seen, only the red ball resting on the ground. He ran downstairs to check on the ball he had brought inside, but it had vanished without a trace. Suddenly, he felt a chill run down his spine as he spotted a strange, stiff figure watching him from afar. The next day, the man left the cabin, never knowing who or what was outside. Follow, because my next story is crazy.
Most scary games to play in real life, part 4. This is the card game. This is a simple ritual, but still very dangerous. To play the game, you need a candle, a deck of cards, and a decent amount of salt. There are 2 points you must follow. Nobody younger than 10 can play this game, and be very careful with the questions you ask. To start, you have to find a room with no light. Then in the center of the room, make a circle with your salt, big enough to sit inside of it. Then light your candle. Now you take the cards, shuffle them very slowly, and focus very hard. Now you put the cards in front of you face down. You then will feel a presence, and then ask, are you there? You then will get a cold feeling down your back. This is when you know you've done it correctly. Then you will lift the first card. If the card is hearts, this means yes. And if it's another card, it didn't work. Now you can start asking the spirit whatever you want. Hearts are yes, diamonds are maybe, anything else is a no. If you leave the circle before you finish the game, the spirit will follow you forever. But be careful, this game is very addictive.
She should have chosen a different apartment. Sally was moving into a new apartment when she notices a crawl space above the ceiling but thinks nothing of it. One night while watching TV, she is frightened by a tiny woman out on her fire escape trying to break in. She hides and calls the cops while the intruder tries to open the locked windows. Moments later, Sally hears something crawling around above her and notices one of the ceiling tiles was missing. Then a deranged woman appeared staring from the hole before scurrying off back into the crawl space. It took the police 3 days to take the deranged woman into custody. Follow, because my next story is crazy. She should have burned the house down. It was 1989 and Cindy just moved into her new home in California. She was sitting in her living room reading the paper when she hears a strange noise coming from the attic, as if someone was crawling around and tapping on the ceiling. Scared but wondering what was happening, she pulls down the attic access. That's when she saw it. A figure that appeared to be an older man staring right at her, and then he just disappeared. Sure it was a ghost, she called up a team of paranormal investigators, and what happens next proves something sinister was going on. 2 men arrived, not sure that what they'd been told was true. They walk through the front door and the lights just go out, and it's now pitch black in the home. Seconds later, one of the men lets out a scream and then goes silent. Not having a flashlight, the other investigator uses the camera flash to look around the room, capturing one of the creepiest photos in paranormal history. His partner is tied to a beam on the ceiling. Follow, because my next story is crazy. Disturbing things caught on camera. While out on a walk, this young lady sees something that is very disturbing. Watch this. Stalkers caught on camera. While taking a walk, they noticed something strange. 2 masked men is following them. At first, they thought that it was just a couple of friends pranking them, but soon realized they was wrong.
Recently, the internet has been abuzz with reports of some very strange sightings in national forests around the world, and I don't mean the animal kind. It began with a 5-year-old Reddit thread posted to the community r/nosleep. In the post, a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service decided to tell some of his creepiest stories from the job. By far the weirdest tale concerns numerous occasions in which he claims to have come across isolated staircases deep in the woods where no man has ever lived. The staircases have no other structure attached to them and look like they've fallen out of the sky, or like the rest of a house has been ripped away. The SAR officer goes on to explain that at first, he was told the staircases were nothing to worry about, but the next time he asked to check them out, he was told by his superiors never to go near them. People in the replies chimed in with their own creepy staircase experiences.
If the road leads to you